Welcome back to the channel. I'm Grampy. Today we're going to replace the brake power booster in the 1976 Corvette. I had it out a couple months ago to do the wiring harness, and while it was out, for some reason it just decided it wasn't going to work anymore. When I put it back in, I had no power brakes. And today we're going to go through the process of changing the brake power booster in this car. Since I just had it out of the car a couple months ago, I know that I have enough play in my brake lines that I can lay the master cylinder forward a little bit and I'll be able to get the power booster out with no problem at all. This is one of the parts that's obvious they didn't replace. And I can tell by the way it is. They painted it, so actually they rebuilt it, I guess, right? Good old Craigslist rebuild. And since it has a chrome cap, it must mean it makes the car go faster or stop faster. Now I'd like to find the zinc cover that goes on there, the zinc colored or plated cover that goes on there. That'll be probably a purchase here real soon. The bolts right there, or I'll forget where to put them. Disconnect the check valve. The new one does come with a new check valve. The hose is new, so I'm not going to worry about that. Set that there. Now we go to the inside of the car. This part is much easier if you have the vent that runs over from the heater box to the vent in the lower part of the dash over here on the driver's side. If you have that out, not easy on its own, but I already have it out, which I haven't put it back in since I did the wiring harness. The clip that holds the power booster rod from the back of the booster to the brake pedal is pretty accessible. Just get a pickup in there and get it off. There you go. Right there. Drop it there for now. Then there's a pin that goes through it. Take that pin out, you probably have to wiggle the brake pedal a little bit. Come on. There we go. There. All right, so that's off. Now, a couple miles of extensions in a deep well 9/16. Probably what you need to get up in there. This would have been so much easier when I had the dash out. This one up on the top left, you can't see it. You can feel it. There we go. Going back on, I'll be able to get my hand up in there. And I should be able to get my hand up there now to get, there we go. And there's that nut. Probably be much easier with an air ratchet, but then I'd have to edit out all that loud noise. The new power booster comes with new nylon nuts. Okay, there's that one. Outside and pull it off the firewall. And now we just pull it out of the firewall, and there she is. Yep. All right, let's put the new one in. Now that we have our old power booster out of the car, we can set up the new one for installation. Let's set that aside. This is the new one. So I purchased this from Zip Corvette, and they offer two options for the power booster for 1968 to 1976 Corvettes. You can either get what's called the replacement, or you can get the correct. The replacement one is about $180, whereas this one was $310. If you're gonna do it, just go with the better one if you can afford it. So let's open it up and see what we have here. Invoice. There's the tool you use for adjusting the rod between the power booster and the master cylinder, which I'll go into in a second. Comes with 4 nylon nuts, the pin, the Clevis pin, which goes through the brake pedal, and then the clip that holds the Clevis pin in. Now the correct unit as listed on their website, on Zip Corvette's website, is actually made by Corvette Stainless Steel Brakes Incorporated. I went to their website, and they make Bendix style boosters, power boosters for Corvettes, and I believe they make them for Fords as well. So it comes with everything pretty much. It comes with a new check valve. It comes with the bolts that hold the master cylinder on, and behind this plastic protective piece right here, there's the pin. Now, before we set it in the car, we need to adjust that pin. So here's the pin that needs to be adjusted. You can see it right there on the camera. It's got threads and it moves in and out. It's a 5/16 socket, goes on the end. You just hold it with a pair of pliers or a pair of vice grips, but lightly. Don't crush down on that. It also comes with a new gasket for between the power booster and the firewall, which is right there. And on the old one, it's there, but very thin and pretty much mashed down. I'll put a link in the description below for both the replacement and the correct power booster, and then also put a link to the website for CSSB, which is Corvette Stainless Steel Brakes Incorporated. I don't get paid by anybody here, so there's no kickbacks or anything like that. I just want everybody to have the opportunity to find the parts that they need. They also make this tool, which, if you look at the tool, I don't know if you can see the writing on the camera, but it shows the rounded end of the pin, and then there's a flat end of the pin. It shows rounded pin end. It's written on the plastic of the tool, and it also has a arrow with the writing master cylinder. So we're going to measure the master cylinder first, and then over here, flip it around, there's an arrow with brake booster. And once we have this set, then we're going to measure the pin and on this side. Well, that's interesting. There's a very, very little tiny dimple in the middle of that pin when you measure the rod coming out of the booster, and that's to help you keep, they want like the width of a piece of paper between the pin and this tool, which is going to be your correct measurement. And they actually put a little dimple in there to keep that, to give you that amount of space. So what you want to do is you want to set this in here, and the goal is, once I loosen this and push this pin forward, the plastic tool is going to stay on the flange of your master cylinder. And once we loosen the set screw and push this in, we're going to want to move it around a little bit to make sure we're centered. And if you're centered in the hole, you're good. So let's go ahead and loosen the set screw. Lefty loosey, righty tighty, right? Hold it flat. move around a little bit, make sure we're in the end of the master cylinder where we need to be. On their video, they actually have a cutout of the master cylinder, and it shows how where this goes into, this round end, is actually rounded as well, because the pin coming out of your booster is round. So I believe that's where we need to be. I'm going to tighten our set screw. Now let's go back over to the power booster and measure the pin coming out of the power booster for our correct length and set that. So now that we have our tool set for the master cylinder side, we're going to put the tool to the brake booster side, and you'll notice that it's just a little bit too long. You want to make sure your pin's all the way down too. If it's like that and you try and measure it and then you adjust it, you're going to be wrong. So make sure it's down in the booster. And like I said, we're just a little bit too long. So what I'm going to do, hold on to it with a pair of vice grips lightly. I'm gonna bring the pin. Oop, not enough holding power there. You don't want to put too much pressure on this. You don't want to crush it. All right. A little bit more, because when I'm on the end of the pin, the tool is rocking back and forth on the plastic to the housing of the brake booster. I think that's good enough. I can feel it scratching on that little nipple they have on the end of the pin. So we're going to call that good. Yep. So one more thing before we do put it back in the car. They recommend that if this pin is loose, that you use some thread locker on it. Now, this pin isn't loose. It's not going to move. When I had the wrench on it, it was tight. You know, tight to move in, tight to loosen up if needed to be. So I'm not worried about putting any Loctite on it. It's not going anywhere. It's not moving on its own. So we're gonna keep it as is, and I'd rather not use the Loctite anyways. So if it was loose, I would definitely use some Loctite on it, but it's not. You want to make sure your mating surface here is clean and free of any old gasket or any silicone somebody may have put on here, because obviously this is a spot where water could get in, and you don't want any take any risks of that. little brake clean it up. Now getting the clevis to go around the brake pedal could be a pain in the butt here, but hopefully it's not. Right. And if you have something to hold the booster in place while you do this is probably best. I'm going to use a piece of wood. There we go. Now going under the dash and see if the clevis actually went around the pedal. Yes, it did. And yes, it did. So got lucky on that one. Now we have to go underneath the dash and do everything in reverse order. All right, now that I got you guys under the dash with me, we need to get the 4 bolts tightened up on the firewall, and then we need to get the pin in the clevis. So let's start. Probably there's 2. Three. And this one up here in the very corner, it's one of those ones you can get your fingertips on it, but that's about it. Okay. All right, all 4 are started. I think I'm going to use, where's that? I have a 1/4-inch drive set up. Where did that go? Well, where did that 1/4-inch drive 9/16 deep well go? It's not a 10mm, so I couldn't have lost it. Well, looks like I'm not using that. I'll go with the 3/8 drive. I just felt it'd be a little easier to get to, less cumbersome, using the 1/4-inch drive. That one's tight. Back on there. Come on. One thing you want to make sure you are careful with is the brake light switch. The bracket, it's bendable, and there's a good chance messing around down here you can bend that bracket and make it so your switch, the brake lights, don't work because the bracket's bent and holding your switch in the on position. So before I'm done, after I get the Clevis in, the Clevis pin in, I should say. Okay. That's tight. And then that's tight. Alright, so I think you can see the Clevis in where the Clevis pin goes. Right there. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to put a little bit of anti-seize on the Clevis pin. I swear by this stuff. The graphite will give it some lubrication. Gotta find that hole up there somewhere. There we go. There we go. Perfect. All right. The pin's in the Clevis. Now we have to get our clip. This little clip right here. So, for those of you that don't know, where's the old one? It's probably with the 9/16 quarter-inch drive, because I don't see it. Alright, so see the rounded part right there on the top? It goes in the pin there, and you push it up and it grabs the groove in the pin with this lower section here, right there where my thumb is. So all right, how about a pair of needle nose? Let's try that. There we go. And it's on there. All right. Let me show you guys. Right. Right. Right there where the magnet is. See it? It's on there. So for some reason, when I came out, well, not for some reason, when I was pushing on the brake underneath,
when I came out, this pin was out like this. So I put it back in, and just for ha-has, I decided I'd check the measurement again. And it's actually, there's too much space there. There's probably 3/16 gap. So I'm going to readjust that. And I think we're good. So let's bring the master cylinder up. So stock from the factory, I believe these things came with a hose clamp on them, but I don't like the look of the hose clamp. So this didn't have anything on it actually. So this could be one of those zip tie moments. Hide the zip tie at the bottom. Definitely has a little bulge there. Okay. Take a pair of flush cuts. That off and reinstall our check valve, and I believe it's done. Now all we have to do is start it up and make sure we have a pedal. Well, I already warmed it up. It does have brakes now. And I hate to do this, but I'm bringing it out in the winter. Just around the block.
went through a month of title issues with the RMV. I'm definitely not going to do anything stupid right now because I'm driving on snow. Well, not snow, more like slush. I definitely can't wait for spring. Nice pedal. Quick drive, little teaser, but it is what it is. Gotta wait till spring. Well, thank you for watching Grampy's Garage. If you liked the video, please give a thumbs up, comment. I love to read the comments. I do answer all of them because I don't have as many followers as some of the other people. Subscribe if you want to see more content on this this Corvette, because I'll definitely be doing some more upgrades to it. I'll be working on the T-top soon, and I'm also gonna tear into that thing and get it running. So after I'm done pulling parts off it, I'll probably just get rid of that one. Like I said, I'm not gonna pull any parts off it. That's not gonna make it streetable. I do have the title. I want to title it too. So again, thank you for watching Grampy's Garage, and I'll see you next time.